Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World, our syndicated TV show, and Let's Just Talk, our syndicated radio show. Our guest today is the founder and owner of the Delray MRI. His name is Ken Esrig. He is a healthcare executive who also owns Delray CT and Teddy Bear Ultrasound with a diagnostic imaging center serving the South Palm Beach County community since 1988. And he's got a wonderful practice. Prior to that, he was in hospital, right?
Right, I'm a hospital CEO.
CEO, and you came to Delray Beach in 1986.
Delray 86, right. As a hospital administrator there. And believe it or not, I'm on the same campus I was when I came. I'm still on the hospital campus.
Well, that's great. So
Yeah.
you have wonderful centers. You've got the latest equipment. You also have done television. You've done videos. You've traveled around the world. You got married again, and you wrote a new book, and you've got grandchildren?
I have a grandchild who's a beautiful daughter, 4 years old, who's living in Scotland right now, while Michelle, my daughter, who you know, is studying to get her doctorate in English from Edinburgh.
Wow, that's awesome. I bet she's excited, isn't she?
Yeah, she's great.
I love Scotland. I lived in England for almost 8 years, so I do know, and I've been many times. So anyhow, and get great golf there as well. So
that's right.
Anyhow, tell me, you have written this new book, and it's about entrepreneurs. Am I correct?
Right.
So talk a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things that I've always said is that we also have our personalities. Some people are salespeople, some people are research people, but regardless, they can all be entrepreneurs. And the reason is because everybody has to find their own way. Like what I originally told you back in the old days was start from where you are. No matter who you are, you have to start. Here's the issue. Different people are raised different ways. So the way I look at things is we have 3 children, for example, born at the same time. One goes home to a pink room. One goes home to a blue room. Where does the entrepreneur go? And so the book is dedicated to comparing the entrepreneur, you, who it is, it's you, it's not me, and someone who was born in a pink world and someone who was born in an athletic blue world. And their stories are very, very different, but the end is always the same. They're always looking for success, they're looking for satisfaction, and they're looking to use their skills to carry them through life. And that's what this book is about, and determining when they approve success.
That's pretty exciting, actually. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for I can't even tell you how many years.
I know.
And still doing stuff, that creating new things all the time. And I think that's what the exciting thing is about being an entrepreneur and being able to run your own business, which isn't easy at times. We all have things that we have to deal with, but I love what I do. So I feel like I can do this until I'm 100 or more.
Well, I'll be there with you. You just, on your 100th birthday, call me and I'll come on with you and we'll talk.
Okay, we'll do that. So anyhow, tell me what you've been doing with, you really have a great practice. And
I appreciate it.
Really, one of the things that I think people need to understand about MRI and CT centers is that they really help us to be able a healthier life. Would you say that?
Right. There are several things going on right now, in my opinion, in healthcare,
Uh-huh.
and it's very standard for any industry that goes from a cottage industry where we talk about individual doctors' practices owned by the doctor and his family, and then they grow and whatever. That's no longer really the case. And in imaging, because it's so expensive and there's so much capital, all of it has been taken over by corporations. And so you have the large and capital firms that are putting money into these imaging centers. Laboratories the same way. Everybody goes to Quest. There's no longer a little pathology office down the street. What I'm trying to do right now is to offer a corporate alternative to medicine in my community, Delray Beach, Florida. But one of the things that happens is when you are an entrepreneur, as you know, Kathryn, you got to depend on yourself, and there's not some big bank behind you, and there's nobody selling stock for you. You're doing it yourself.
Mhm.
So what I decided was is that there needed to be more than corporate practice of medicine in our community, and I opened up a CT center to go along with my MRI center.
And that's really important. I'll tell you what, I don't know what I would have done without CT and MRI over the years.
Mhm.
Seriously.
Well, if anybody has any kind of condition, they need diagnostic imaging first. And it doesn't matter who your doctor sends you to or whatever, they're not going to act until they know the results of your imaging.
It's really unfortunately our relative got pretty well injured this year. We won't know
Mm,
who it was, but without that imaging, we wouldn't have known how bad it was
mm,
and how much it had to be done by a trauma surgeon, not a regular
mm,
surgeon.
right.
And it was a very complicated surgery. And without that imaging, we wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And later on, found out 3 blood clots came out.
Oh, no.
In other words, after the experience, right, there were blood clots that we found that out after the operation, but it was for the accident, actually.
That sounds like from an ultrasound procedure. Am I correct? A Doppler ultrasound? That's where they find the blood clots.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah, we provide that as well. In the old days, you could have just an MRI machine, but the reality is just like I said, when there's a growth. So now we offer not only MRI and CT, but X-ray and ultrasounds as well, and that's so that you can get a comprehensive approach to the patient without them going to different locations or going back to corporate.
and that's what everybody wants. They want a one-stop shop, actually.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of time to go back and forth and back and forth, back and forth, and
Sure.
not know for a while. So it's easier when you could do that. I wish you were here. It would be
Yep. We're,
great.
we're, I'm on a trauma center, so we're kind of glad you're not there and you went closer to your home
Oh, good.
because it's all about local. And that's the reason that I personally have look at my point in life, do I really need to be competing against corporations that have billions of dollars? And the answer is no. But the fact is, the patients deserve a hug. They deserve personal care. They deserve people who actually want to take care of them as opposed to looking at them as a number. And so that alone is why I continue to do what we do. And my staff, whenever anybody comes to us, they go, "Oh my God, that's how I want to be treated. You treated me like fan." That's right. And it doesn't have to be any other way other than the fact that corporations have taken it over.
And sometimes it's sad, really. It is because it's nice I've gotten to know a lot of people in the healthcare industry with the hand surgeries and everything else I've had to do. And and it's nice to know who they are. And they welcome you back and it makes you feel good when you go in because you really trust. It's just like the pharmacist or anybody else, your doctor,
Hmm.
right?
So
So
let me tell you and your viewers and listeners today what happened, because this is exactly why I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Sorry about my hands there. Um, I have a friend of ours who came to me short on time, in a lot of pain. We got her in fast. We got her results. We got to the spine surgeon. Spine surgeon says, "Oh, gee, I'd like to see some other images." She's back there right before she called in. right before I called into you, or we got on this show, she calls and she says, "Oh my goodness, I'm at the spine surgeon now. Is there any way in the world you can get?" Do you know that what we did is we had our team call the radiologist, get the report, and while she was waiting there, she got her answers. Now, I don't care what hospital you go to. I don't care what outpatient center you go to. Nobody's going to do that for you because they just don't care to do that. That's not how they operate. They say, "Come get a disc. We can call you in a week, whatever." No, you need it now. And that's what we try and do. And one last thing I'd like to share. So what I did is I had my own personal issue. It was nothing bad, but it was something that I needed a CT scan. I called up and I used a fake name so that I could see how my system works. And what I found is that if you let the systems work, these techs, no matter whether they work for me or work for the big corporations, they care. They work hard. These are dedicated professionals, technologists, doctors who, they really do care. Unfortunately, money has taken over a lot of it, but they really do work hard.
Right. And I found that out during, not just with what you do, but urgent care, for instance, Christmas
Mm,
or Hanukkah, right? All of a
right.
sudden, the doctors aren't in the offices. The urgent care people are there, though, or the emergency.
That's right.
And that's what we ended up doing for
Hmm.
the flu, the affluenza.
There you go.
And it's really tough right now, but that's the way it is. They were really patient, they were really good, and they got things done quickly. And the funny thing that I thought was really wild was the medication was at the pharmacy and I didn't have to stand and wait for it.
Isn't that great when they have the pharmacy right there? Sure.
No, the
Well,
pharmacy. Yeah.
when you go to a place like that, they know the kinds of patients that are coming. I mean, any good business person, any entrepreneur, or any corporation is going to know that, gee, 80% of our patients need antibiotics, or 60% of our patients need some kind of pain relief without being narcotics. I'm opposed to narcotics, so it's a world that they've put together a whole system to take care of you, and really, that's the whole healthcare delivery system. That's what we're taught in school.
And it's funny because I'm so allergic, actually, me personally is so allergic to drugs that
Mm,
my pharmacist, I have two pharmacists, which I love, and a really good doctor that should be a what do you call it? Concierge doctor. And she's out of
gotcha.
Tennessee, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so anyhow, I can go in and tell them anything. And they'll give me advice and they really help me to understand my system. And that's the kind of people I love pharmacists because if they're really good, and these guys are really young and happy,
Yeah.
excited. So when you go, "Oh, how are you, Kathryn?" Something like whatever. But I think it's important to ask certain questions and to be smart about your health. Would you agree with
Mhm.
that?
I would. I have some other thoughts that you just provoked, and one of them is something that I think the internet. And I told you I have issues with the internet because every single person, no matter what you get, when your doctor says, "Oh, you have XYZ," first thing you do is say, Google or Chat the GPT. What? Tell me about this disease. And these people went to medical school. They went to nursing school. Chat GPT and the internet did not. They did not actually feel your problem. They didn't see it. And so what happens is everybody says, "Well, I'm doing this because this is what the internet said," and what have you. My comment to everyone is find a doctor or a provider that you believe in and believe what that person tells you. The minute you don't believe, find someone else. But as long as you pick Dr. X and Dr. X is telling you, you're in good shape, don't worry about it, then don't worry about it. Can they make mistakes? Yes. Do you need a whole body scan? Absolutely not. And the
Mhm.
reason is the internet has pushed whole body scans to the extent that I had my dermatologist ask me, "Oh, do you do whole body scans?" And I said, "Yes, I do." I said, "But I don't believe in them." And the reason is why. Let's say you have a spot on your liver, a spot on your lungs, a spot, and the CT picks it up. What are you going to do about it? Now you're going to have a biopsy. You could have those things for 25 years and not worry about it. And all of a sudden now they're going, "Oh, what's the matter with you? You've got a spot here or this there." Can it detect early diagnoses? Absolutely. Should you be doing that and radiate yourself? In my opinion, no. And I told this doctor that. He went ahead and had it anyway. But the fact is it's available. It's internet medicine. It's not depending on your physician.
I agree with that totally. I mean, I probably have had more x-rays over my life than I'm probably a radiation person, right? I tell you, you come near me and it radiates. So tell me, you're still growing, am I correct?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I've tried to do now is to present, I guess, present to the public an alternative to who they think are the big players. So in my particular town, a lot of people have heard of Reyes. Reyes is a national radiology corporation. They bought up all our local people. So and again, South Florida, as you know, Kathryn, you've been here enough times. It goes Miami, and then it goes Deerfield, and then it goes Hillsborough, and then all of a sudden you're at Fort Lauderdale, and it's all one big thing. So when you call out a city in South Florida like Delray Beach, it has a defined border both south and north, and that's who my market is. And I want those people to have opportunity to have an alternative. And so what I did is right before COVID, if you can believe this or not, people, I opened up that's days before COVID, literally days before COVID. And so we had 3 years with no patients. And if I tell you anything that being an entrepreneur teaches you, if you don't have a tolerance for really bad times, then you shouldn't be an entrepreneur because there's no telling what's going to happen. There was no reason whatsoever that I should have had any problems whatsoever. And yet COVID hit and shut us all down at the same time. So regardless of what help we got from the government or anybody else, that was a devastating time. So what happens is when you go to grow, but you've had 3 bad years, you can't borrow money. Now you're right back in the same place everybody else is. They can't borrow money because they say, show me all your profits. And I said, I opened a place right before COVID. How many profits do you think I have? I'm going to tell you, everyone, don't ever give up. Don't ever stop what you're trying to do. I hung in there. I found a way to finance it. I got my second MRI machine, and we're scanning right now on 2 machines and 2 MRI machines at the same time. Don't stop. If you believe in what you're doing, you're right. Don't let anything come in your way. Even 3 years of COVID that just devastated the whole country.
Well, we need to take a short break. Can you still have some?
I can stay, sure.
Oh, good. We'll take a short break. Give your website out, please, Ken.
On my website, we really don't do a lot on website. I believe it's delraymri.com, but we're hands-on. We don't really do that.
So when's the book coming out?
Well, I'm looking for a publisher right now, and let's talk about that after the break. I'll tell you about the book.
Okay, let's do that. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back on Kathryn Raaker's World, and let's just talk right after these important messages.
Dad, you need to go.
Really?
It's important.
I feel fine.
Look, you cannot mess around with this kind of stuff. Some cancers, man, we just don't want to lose you from something we could have caught.
What I need to do?
You just give your doctor a call. They'll tell you what screening test you need.
Fine. Can I have my pie now? Oh, man.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
We are back with Ken Esrig, who is the CEO and founder of Delray MRI, Delray CT, Teddy Bear Ultrasound and Diagnostic Imaging Centers, serving the South Beach County since 1988. And he's an author and an entrepreneur and a filmmaker. What can I tell you? Anyhow. So he's got a new book. So tell me about the book.
Well, I'm excited about it. Again, let me just kind of tell you, it's a fiction book. It is not a self-help book. And that's why it's been a little bit difficult because it really plays like it's, oh, you learn to be an entrepreneur in the entrepreneur's locker room. But the locker room concept that I have comes from being in college. And if you were a young entrepreneur, and the story, like I told you before the break, was these three individuals, you being the person we're talking about, you graduate college. Well, guess what? You've never had a business. You've never done payroll. You've never invested. You've never gone for a loan. You're a neophyte. You're a brand new baby. What about the guy who was playing football and he didn't make it to the pros? What's he going to do with his life? He's a baby coming out of college. What about the young lady who thought she was going to be a dancer and now got married? She's coming out of college as a baby. So they have to start their lives in their profession from a different point of view. And my argument is that the entrepreneur will figure out a way to not only excel, but to take care of those who aren't in that mentality. What are they going to do? So the story goes something like this. When everybody else is playing t-ball, what do the entrepreneur's parents send them? They send them to camp where they can learn to fill out insurance forms and how to invest money in the market and whatever. And one of the other problems with the locker room concept is that when you are in college in particular, your professors are the best people in the entire world, theoretically, at what they do. Use them, get to know them, use the head of the finance department, use the head of the marketing department, use your professors from all of those things. And if you keep them with you, lifelong friends like I did, they'll help you as you develop your entrepreneurial efforts.
That's pretty exciting, actually. And really, it's, in a sense, everyone basically needs to learn how to even do a checkbook or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, they don't think about that. And they may still be living with mom and dad, and they're 27 or they're 28.
100% correct. And again, just because you haven't read it yet, but you will. So what the story is you start off in the crib and your rattle sounds like coins. Instead of a changing table, you have a desk with one of those green accounting lights, and it goes on and on through your first grade. And while they're all doing their little games, you're doing games about monetary systems, and it's just a different orientation. And if, in fact, we were really serious about developing entrepreneurs, we would have some kind of sustainability for them so that they could end up actually trying. There's no money available to a young entrepreneur. So whether you're on Shark Tank or not, you're one person in a gazillion. But the rest of us as young entrepreneurs, it's hard to find money.
It is. It really is. And even if you do go to Shark Tank or whatever that elevator thing is, the elevator pitch or whatever that stuff is, I think to myself, I've worked with a lot of these people. I don't know if you remember this or not. I actually would call a lot of the people after they didn't make it. Or if they did make it, are they still there? And I would see them at the International Houseware Show or whatever. And it's a game almost. And a lot of people turn it down because when they find out what the contractual situation is on there, they could go broke. And I always look up when they have all these repeat shows, Ken, still in business? Did they ever ask why? And a lot of them, I've seen people walk off that show and say, I'm not giving you 35%, 20% or whatever.
Right.
I can do this on my own.
Yeah. Well, I think that, again, it's your tolerance. I come from a working family. I didn't bring any money to any of my endeavors. I had to be the working capital most of the times. We'll give you a piece of the business if you do this. And that's how I developed mine. But that was my path. Everybody's path has to be different. But if you have no money, and you have a dream, then your path is a 10-year path. There's no way around it. Sure, you can win the lottery. Sure, Uncle Steve can die and drop you $1 million. But the reality is it takes 8 to 10 years from zero to getting to be a millionaire, from zero to having a real successful business. It just doesn't happen overnight. in 99%. You win the lottery, great, but all the rest of us have to work. And so what I did is I just did whatever talents I had. One of the things I share with people is they think I'm so wonderful now, but what they don't know is that I haven't had what you would call a real job since 1990 when my daughter was born. And what I was doing, I had nothing. I was selling tens units batteries. I was going to doctors' offices and selling a tens unit to them, and I was getting paid on the batteries $4 a piece. And that's how I started my sales company.
That's pretty exciting when you think about it. I see more and more people that are becoming entrepreneurs, and they're not afraid to work. And you know who I got really close to interviewing was Elon Musk.
Oh, nice.
Wild. I mean, but the wonderful thing about him, and he has autism, but he has a high level of autism. God gives people gifts when these things happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's brilliant. And the funny thing is, I have to share this with you. He did not start Tesla. Tesla, the inventor of it, and that Tesla died almost penniless in New York. Did you know that?
I did know that.
And actually, I got to interview the lady that moved into the house he was in.
Oh, no.
But I'm also having on the Pulitzer Prize winner who actually just wrote, he did the Trump, I forget what the name of it is, but the point is the Trump code. But people don't understand Mr. Entrepreneur Donald Trump either. They can't get it. They can't understand why he thinks the way he does.
Mm-hmm.
But it's brilliant when you think about it, but it's scary as well. I would not want to be the president of the United States. Never. Okay. But anyhow,
I don't know. You get to ride in that cool jet.
Oh, yeah, that is pretty cool.
You got don't rule out the jet.
Wait a minute. There's a cooler jet out there that I went to Israel on, and I felt real protected then.
There you go.
I mean, seriously, those guys, I have to tell you, they're pretty good, actually. I can't believe it. I am going back to Israel, which I'm really excited about. And I'll be traveling this year with our program, and I'll talk to you about that another time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my friend just left about 4 hours ago from Miami, heading back over to see his new grandchild who just got born in Israel. So a blessing.
Wow, that is a blessing, and a blessing to all of your family. I can't
Thank you.
See you again in Florida, and I'm excited. And I think 2026 is going to be one wild year, kid.
I think so.
Especially for entrepreneurs. I want to thank you for joining me today, Ken, for taking time out to be on our show. And I will put this on television and radio for you. And
super.
All the pieces for it. And if you'll do me a favor, if you'll promote everything that we do, and I'll send you a media kit as well.
You know I will. And to all your viewers, I've known Kathryn for so many years, and I'm so proud to be a part of this show today.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thanks so much. And have a blessed year. Thank you.
You too.
Don't forget to go to Delray Beach to look
DelrayMRI.com. And the one thing I will add real quick, teddy bear ultrasound, what you were talking about, that's 3 and 4D ultrasounds of babies in vitro. So the patient and the family can get to meet their baby before it's born.
And I think that's the most gorgeous thing. I just saw, I looked at all those for my children and grandchildren. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, it's amazing.
They're great.
Amazing. They even come out smiling. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you so much. And don't forget to go to our website at KathrynRaakersWorld.com.
You got it.
It's all on Kathryn Raaker's World. And don't forget our cooking site. It's very exciting, actually. Thank you so much.